The Bold and the Beautiful, Steffi's crash, Luna's DNA bombshell, and the collapse of everything. Steffy Forrester boarded the jet with one purpose: to expose the truth. The photograph of the DNA test, leaked to her just hours before, wasn't just a document, it was a detonator. It confirmed what she'd feared all along and what everyone had tried to hide from her. The baby growing inside Luna could not be explained away, could not be ignored, and could no longer be denied. It was Will Spencer's. There was no more doubt. No more waiting. No more shielding the family from the fallout. She was going to bring it all back to town and let the fire consume whoever stood in the way. The flight was supposed to be quick. Just a return trip, but everything unraveled somewhere over the mountains and nothing would ever be the same again. The jet carrying Steffi back to Los Angeles lost contact with air traffic control 20 minutes before it was due to land. No distress call, no signal, just silence. A blip on the radar one moment and gone the next. Back in LA, the Forrester estate plunged into chaos as soon as the news broke. Ridge was the first to hear. The call came directly from the private aviation company: "We've lost contact with the aircraft. Emergency response teams are searching the perimeter. We'll update you when we know more." He didn't wait. Neither did Taylor. Brooke was already at the house. And when Ridge told her, she collapsed into a chair, clutching her chest. "No," she whispered. "Not Steffi. Not now." But it was now. And everyone knew why she was on that flight. She had the test results. She had the truth. And now she might never make it back to say it out loud. The leak of the DNA photo had detonated every simmering tension in the Forrester, Spencer, and Logan households. It was Luna's worst nightmare realized. The document had been under lock and key, sealed by medical privacy. But someone had gotten it, photographed it, and sent it directly to Steffi. There was no mystery about what the paper said. Will Spencer's name was clear. Paternity, 99.98%. Steffi hadn't waited for anyone's approval. She had stormed out of the safe house, boarded the family jet, and made a call to the media before takeoff. She was ready to burn every bridge, torch every lie, and leave Luna no place to hide. But now, Steffi was missing. Possibly dead. Finn was shattered. The man who had barely survived the last implosion of his marriage now stood frozen with grief. The woman he loved, the mother of his children, was somewhere out there, and he hadn't been able to stop her. Hadn't been able to make her pause, to reconsider, to wait. She'd gone alone, and now, Luna, meanwhile, was paralyzed. The moment she saw the report on the news, she felt it in her stomach like a knife. Steffi's jet was down, and everyone would think she was responsible. It didn't matter that she hadn't leaked the test results. It didn't matter that she hadn't lied about the baby. The optics were brutal. Steffi had found the truth, and then she vanished. The court of public opinion was already rendering judgment. Bill Spencer, cold as ever, acted immediately. "We control the narrative now," he said in a closed-door meeting at Spencer Publications. "No comment, no guilt, no blame. We let the media wonder, let them spin their wheels. Meanwhile, we secure Luna. We keep Will silent, and we get out ahead of this." But Will wasn't listening. He hadn't spoken since the crash. He stayed locked in his apartment, staring at the same photograph Steffi had seen. The DNA report. The life-altering truth that made everything real. The child was his. And now Steffi, who had every reason to hate him, every reason to hate Luna, was possibly dead, carrying that secret to her grave. Electra, who had been avoiding the storm entirely, showed up on Will's doorstep. She didn't speak when he opened the door. She just walked in, sat down beside him, and took the photo from his hands. "She knew," Electra said softly. "Steffi knew before she got on that plane. That's why she was coming back." Will nodded, hollow. "She would have told the world," Electra continued. "She would have ruined everything. For you. For Luna. For all of us." "Maybe she should have," Will whispered. "Maybe it's what we deserve." Search and rescue teams worked for hours before they found the wreckage. The jet was torn apart, pieces scattered across a frozen ridge. The pilot's body was recovered quickly. No signs of other passengers. No sign of Steffi. The official statement read, "Presumed missing. Likely deceased." But Ridge refused to believe it. "She's not gone," he told Taylor, his voice raw. "I would know. I would feel it." Taylor didn't argue. She couldn't. Not when she felt the same. But even as hope flickered, the rest of the world kept spinning. The Forresters tried to keep things quiet, but reporters were everywhere. Speculation spread like wildfire. Some claimed sabotage. Others hinted at a cover-up. Theories exploded on social media. Luna had sent the report. Bill had silenced Steffi. Will had broken under pressure. Electra had snapped. Everyone was a suspect. Everyone had motive. Behind closed doors, Brooke finally confronted Ridge. Do you think Luna had something to do with it? She asked, eyes dark. Ridge hesitated. I don't know, but I know this, my daughter was going to expose something big. And now she's gone. The next day, a hiker found a piece of torn clothing deep in the woods. Blood-stained, recognizable. Steffi's jacket. Ridge flew to the site himself. And this time, he broke. Meanwhile, Luna couldn't breathe. She hadn't left Bill's house since the crash. Paparazzi swarmed the gates. Protesters began appearing outside, holding signs with Steffi's name, blaming Luna for her disappearance. Inside, Luna was falling apart. The pregnancy was already complicated. Now, with stress, grief, and guilt closing in, she began experiencing intense abdominal pain. A doctor was called. They told her to rest. But Luna couldn't, not with all eyes on her. And then, the second leak hit the press. Security camera footage from the hospital. Luna in the DNA lab. Requesting the test. Speaking with the technician. Leaving with the sealed envelope. The spin was immediate. Luna knew the truth. Luna hid it. The story was no longer just about Steffi's crash. It was about the weeks of deception leading up to it. The idea that Luna had manipulated everyone. That she had tried to bury the paternity. That she'd only confessed when she couldn't keep it secret anymore. Luna snapped. In a press conference she hadn't cleared with Bill or anyone, she stood alone at a podium and spoke. Yes, I requested the test. I didn't know who to trust. I was scared. But I never hurt Steffi. I never wanted this. I didn't leak that photo. And I would never. Her voice broke. Cameras flashed. No one believed her. Will watched it all from a distance. Silent. Tortured. Useless. Until the call came. Steffi was alive. She'd been found, half-conscious, miles from the crash. Bruised, broken, hypothermic, but breathing. And she remembered everything. The crash. The moments before. The phone in her hand. The file. The voice of the pilot warning of engine failure. She hadn't crashed because of Luna. She had crashed because someone sabotaged the plane. Now it was a criminal investigation. Now the stakes were life or death. And Steffi, from her hospital bed, asked one thing. Who else knew I was on that jet? Because someone had tried to stop her from bringing the truth back. And she would find out who. The bold and the beautiful. The black box. The name. And the betrayal in the mist. The jet carrying Steffi Forrester didn't just crash. It vanished into the fog like a ghost swallowed by the mountains. The last confirmed location was a remote airspace near a dense, misty ridge known for sudden turbulence and poor visibility. From that moment, no one knew what happened. Only that Steffi was gone. The jet was down. And she had left behind more than just wreckage. As the search intensified, one item became the key to everything, the black box. The flight recorder, found days after the crash buried beneath snow and twisted metal, was intact. Damaged but not destroyed, the recovery team immediately turned it over to authorities. And from there, it went into the hands of the private airline's internal data team. Before anyone else heard what was inside. That was the first mistake. Because someone on the inside was waiting. Watching. And ready to intercept. What no one knew. What Ridge, Brooke, Taylor, even the media didn't realize. Was that Steffi had made one final phone call before the crash. A direct call to Ridge. And the airline's black box had captured the open comm line, recording her words in her own voice. Her message was short, broken up by static and urgency. But one part was unmistakably clear. Ridge. I saw the test. It's not just Will. There's another name. Someone helped her. It wasn't just Luna. It was, then silence. Then the crash. That recording, raw and damning, existed until someone tried to make sure it didn't. Inside the airline, an employee with high-level clearance accessed the data before it was uploaded to the official NTSB servers. They extracted the audio file and replaced it with a looped segment of mechanical noise, masking the actual transmission. It was a clean job, subtle enough that even the crash investigators wouldn't catch it at first. But something slipped. A backup timestamp didn't match. That error triggered an alert in the airline's maintenance archive, which automatically notified senior investigators. But by the time they returned to the server, the file had been altered again, this time with a new file name, embedded in a subdirectory used for test pilots. Someone inside the system knew exactly how to hide data. This wasn't a random act. This was sabotage. Meanwhile, Ridge Forrester was spiraling. The only thing keeping him sane was the memory of that final call. He remembered Steffi's voice, rushed, panicked, but it wasn't fear that struck him. It was conviction. She knew something. Something bigger than just Luna's pregnancy. Something dangerous. When Ridge requested access to the black box recording, the airline responded with a scripted denial. Under investigation, they said. Data not available to family. But Ridge had lived too long in the world of power plays and secrets. He could smell the cover-up. Brooke was the first to believe him. Taylor followed reluctantly. Together, they formed an uneasy alliance. Former rivals, now bound by something more urgent than old resentments. The need to find the truth about Steffi, the crash, and the name she never got to finish saying. Brooke used her media contacts to dig. Taylor tapped into medical networks. The deeper they went, the more disturbing it became. Rumors spread of internal conflict within the airline. Whispers of bribes. Deleted maintenance logs. And then came the real break. A tip from an anonymous whistleblower sent directly to Brooke's private inbox. Subject, Flight 86A body, the black box was edited. Look for the original wave. Server folder marked, echo_main1. It's still there. Not for long. Brooke and Taylor brought it straight to Ridge. He didn't wait. He stormed into the airline's downtown headquarters with attorneys, security consultants, and the full force of the Forrester name. A battle erupted in the boardroom. Threats were made, legal orders filed, public pressure exploded when media outlets caught wind of tampering allegations. Finally, the airline folded, partially. They turned over the file system under supervision. The search began, folder by folder, line by line, and then there it was. A hidden wave file, timestamped the exact minute Steffi's final call came through. It had been renamed, buried, and flagged as corrupt, but the data was there. They played it in a sealed room. No press, no outsiders. Ridge, Taylor, Brooke, a federal investigator, and a technician. The audio crackled with static. Then Steffi's voice, faint but sharp. Dad, it's me. Listen, I'm on the jet now. I have the report, but it's not just about that. Someone helped her hide it. Someone inside. I saw their name on the second page of the test file. It was. Long pause, static, engine noise, it was. Poppy. Gasps filled the room. Taylor's eyes widened. Brooke covered her mouth. Poppy, Luna's mother. A name that had hovered on the edge of every whisper but had never been confirmed. Now it was on record. Steffi had discovered that Poppy had altered the original DNA test results weeks earlier, removing Will's name from the primary report and stashing the truth behind medical firewalls. She had used an insider at the clinic to erase paternity data, then coached Luna into withholding everything until she could figure out their future. It wasn't just deception, it was deliberate manipulation, and now it might have led to attempted murder. Brooke's voice cut through the silence. She knew Steffi was going to expose her. That's why this happened. That's why someone sabotaged the jet. Taylor nodded. And if Poppy was willing to tamper with medical files, what else would she do to protect her secret? They had their suspect, but they still needed proof. And Poppy? She had already fled. By the time Ridge and Taylor brought the new evidence to authorities, Poppy was gone. Her apartment empty. Her phone disconnected. Luna didn't even know. She had woken up that morning to a note on the kitchen counter. I'm sorry. I did what I had to do. Don't follow me, Mom. When Luna saw the press conference revealing the recovered black box audio, she collapsed. The headlines were unavoidable. Forensic audio names Poppy in DNA cover-up. Steffi Forrester's final words recorded before crash. The court of public opinion flipped instantly. Sympathy for Luna evaporated. Protesters returned to Spencer Publications. Bill cut all ties. Will filed an emergency petition to establish full custody rights before the baby was even born, citing deception, tampering, and emotional endangerment. But for Ridge, Brooke, and Taylor, none of it mattered more than one thing: Steffi was right. And someone tried to silence her. Now, they had to find Poppy. And find out if she acted alone. Because the plane didn't fall out of the sky by accident. The black box had spoken. And the person Steffi named was still out there. Desperate, cornered, and capable of more than anyone ever imagined. And the storm wasn't over. Not yet.